I was streaming live on Instagram tonight, and I was doing that if only because I was unlocking achievements. And Tommy NC 2010 was watching. It's been a while since last we crossed paths. Met him in person when he traveled out for a Vlogger Fair event a few years ago. And he asked a question that I kind of wanted to talk about on my birthday anyway. Turning 47, 48, 49, 50. I'm aging myself a little more than I need to right now. But I'm healthier now, turning 48, than I was turning 47, or 46, or 45, or 44. And last year, a full year ago, on my birthday, I realized, or right around my birthday, I realized that I was making good choices for myself, choices that I felt were the right choices, and still feel are the right choices, but I knew that I could do better. And so, over the past year, a few people have made remarks on my appearance. Whether it's, Chris, you've lost weight, are you sick? Or, Chris, your hair's short, are you dying? The answer to both those questions, by the way, is no! Not at all! Hang on, I gotta have a sip of my calorie-laden beer here. One moment. Oh, that's good stuff. Probably not a good choice. Alcohol, not a good choice. But, we all have our vices. So Tommy asked how I stayed, or how to stay fit and healthy. And I use those words in quotes because it's somewhat relative. What works for me is not going to work for you. But the bottom line is, you have to be happy with where you are. That's honestly all that matters. Because it's on you. Like your health is your choice, or it should be. If it's your body, it should be your choice. I'm a big believer in that. I'm a big believer in that choice. Big believer. I have a choice. I have a belief that many people would probably do better if they also chose the same path as I did. But that's a blanket statement. Remember, I'm not an expert in anything but being myself. And let me tell you, after living years and years and years, I'm not suffering from entropy. Years and years and years of losing weight and gaining it and losing it and fluctuating. I've become somewhat accustomed to that, and that's something that I wanted to correct. And so I've learned that when it comes to, for me, staying healthy, and that is maintaining a weight appropriate for my body, having a good heart rate, resting, active, good, all the vitals, right? I realized that anytime I set a health goal, it shouldn't be something that would ever be met. How do I stay fit and healthy? I have goals. I have expectations for myself. I have guidelines for myself, but they're not short term. Now you think, wait a minute, Chris. How much weight can you lose? I can't lose anymore. I'm at the low end, dude. This is it. So then, what am I going to do from here? If my goal was to lose weight, then I'm done, right? Well, that's why my goal has never been, nor should it ever be, nor should yours ever be, to lose weight. Okay? Let me reframe this a bit. Maybe you feel you need to lose weight. Okay, that's great. It's fine. But that shouldn't be your goal. Why? Once you lose it, what's going to happen? Just think about it. If you've lost it before, what happened? What usually happens? You've met the goal. You lost your weight. What then? You gain it back. It's common. It happens. It's happened to me too many times than I care to count. And one of the reasons that, I've been invested in my health over all these years is because it's my only body. I only got one. I'm not going to say my body is my temple. Lord knows I've abused the hell out of it. Oh. Still, I've made certain decisions that have stuck over the years. And in reflecting upon those decisions, I came to the conclusion that they weren't just short-term goals. They were long-term goals. And those long-term goals, ran ad infinitum to remain healthy. 22 years ago is really when I started after I became a full-fledged adult. I guess it's over 20 years ago now. Oh, geez. 25 years ago? God, I'm getting older in front of your eyes. So I started learning a bit more about what I was eating and made the decision that I wasn't going to eat trans fats, hydrogenated oil. And so for 25 years, I've been trans fat free, largely. I know I've eaten it. I mean, it happens. And despite fluctuating weight up and down and up and down, that's something that I've stuck with. Because it wasn't something like, I'm going to quit eating hydrogenated oil until I lose weight, or for a year. It wasn't that. It was just like, I'm done with it. Don't need it. Body doesn't need it. Don't want it. Glad I don't have it. So that was a life change, a lifestyle change that I made that stuck for 25 years. Haven't even thought twice about it. 4 years ago, I made the decision to become vegan. Was it 4? 5? The vegan blog is out there somewhere. And that was a decision that was just as immediate for me. And I made that decision because I knew it could be a more viable option for me to reach another one of my long-term goals that is always going to be moving, right? And that long-term goal was to get cholesterol in check. And that's something that I've always wrestled with my entire life. My entire life. I thought it was hereditary. Listen to the framing of that question. I thought it was genetic. The high cholesterol. I thought. So, made that change. You might remember I lost weight, but I gained it back. Just turning vegan doesn't mean that I'm going to be that much more healthy. Yes, I believe I'm making better choices for my body. Absolutely. No doubt about that. I have zero deficiencies. In fact, I probably have too much B12 right now, according to the last blood test. I'll get to that in a second. But I knew that I could do better. I was still going for that long-term goal that I could never reach permanently, right? Set goals, but ones that you can't ever complete truly, right? You can get there, but that doesn't mean you stop. Because the moment you make a goal for your health or with anything, by the way, anything, where it's definitive, oh, I'm now this much, I weigh this much now. Done! All right. I'm good. Yay, I can kind of relax a bit. Well, the thing about health is you can have fun days. One of the reasons why I like eating fun cereal on Saturday and Sunday, it's a fun thing to do. I enjoyed cereal growing up, hadn't had it in years. I'm like, there's plenty of tasty, not great for you vegan cereals, but it's a treat. Lord knows. So, I'm not saying, I've been cut off from the rest of the world. I haven't. Just the opposite. But still, that was something I wanted to get in check. So I took it upon myself right around my last birthday a year ago. I'm like, all right, I really am tired of this fluctuation. There's no cure-all. I have to pay attention to this. This is something that matters to me. This is something that's important to me. The way I kind of frame it is, okay, let's say I'm sitting in front of, a juicy hamburger, right? An Impossible Burger, Beyond Burger, whatever. And I look at it, and I'm like, I'm already at my calorie allotment for the day. I've eaten, more than I need to for the day. But, this looks really tasty. Do I want short-term satisfaction or long-term satisfaction? In that moment, short-term, because you're thinking short-term, like it's a burger. It's a delicious burger. It's got pickles and onions and the vegan mayo and the Grey Poupon mustard, not the deli mustard, what is it? Dijon, whatever. It's the burger the way with cheese, the vegan cheese, of course, which is getting better and better by the year, by the way. This is just amazing. But I have to think, wait a minute, what do I want more? do I want to be at a weight appropriate for my body? Or do I want to find myself in that same position again down the line, having to work back to that point? And every single time when faced with that consequence, I just like, all right, I'm good. I did enough for today, and some days, I may go over, some days I may go under, but generally speaking, I'm right in the zone. Not to be confused with that. I don't believe in diets. I think diets are a dumb idea. Very dumb. Stupid. And I don't mean they don't work. But the problem is that the moment you're off the diet, you're back to where you were. It's just, you're repeating the cycle. And the only way to break through that cycle, you're going to keep learning that lesson over and over and over again until you figure it out. I'm sorry, you're going to see the lesson, you're going to experience the lesson until you actually learn the lesson. That's what I meant to say. I know there was a quote in there somewhere, but I totally messed that up. Like I said, not an expert in anything except for being myself. But that's a short-term thing. Short-term thinking. You've got to think long-term. And that's not to say that a year from now, I'm going to be back to where I was. Life happens. All I know is that the decision that I have made and the decisions that I have made have culminated into me a year later, going 47 to 48, on July 26th, I'm healthier than I ever have been. I haven't announced this yet. I haven't said anything about this yet. But I weighed in. I weigh regularly. I don't do it every day. It's a little obsessive, and there's no point to doing it. Maybe once a week. I have lost a total of 40 pounds over the past year. I'm fully functional. I'm lifting as much as I lift. I'm working. I'm moving around. I get plenty of steps in. I'm active. I'm not, atrophying or anything like that. So some of that could have been muscle. Most of it, I guarantee, because I know my body, was fat. 40 pounds in a year. It was a very slow burn. That was not my goal. It was a side effect of my goal. My goal was to pay attention to what I was doing instead of ignoring it and punting that responsibility to somebody else. And I'm telling you, the biggest problem that we, and I'm going to say we as a global society, I'm not just picking on Americans here, we have a problem where we cede that control. We yield that control and that responsibility to somebody else. That might be a partner, a spouse, a loved one, a family member, a son, daughter, it doesn't matter. A restaurant, a chef, it doesn't matter. We cede that control. Because you know what? It's kind of a pain in the ass to think about. I admit it. Do I really want to think about what I'm eating all the time? Not really. It's not something that I enjoy doing. Do I count calories? Loosely. Not like okay, I had 500, 300. In my head, I'm always calculating. Because I'm done yielding control to somebody else. Because every time I do, I let my guard down. I let go of my responsibility. And I'm the one who has to pay the price because it's my health. So if you keep punting that responsibility for your health, if you're in that position where you can be responsible for your own decisions, why aren't you responsible for your own decisions? You know what? Like I said, if you don't want to do it, it's fine. It's your choice. All I'm saying is, it's your choice. And I was tired of saying, you know what? I'm good with somebody else worrying about that. I don't worry about it. I think about it. I'm concerned about it, but I don't push that off onto somebody else. And Diana, I will say, has been a player in that, and not, this is through no fault of her own, because let me tell you, it's very easy for Diana to feed you well, and she is such an amazing cook. Everything she makes is so good. And, I've always told her that. This is not a surprise. This is not me, saying something that she doesn't already know, because I've said it a billion times. Because it's awesome. But that's the problem, is I don't know what I'm eating sometimes. And if I don't have an idea about what I can count on and what I need to eat and what I shouldn't be eating as much of, I'm yielding responsibility. So I mentioned we'd come back to the blood test. I said I had too much vitamin B. It was because of all the nooch I was eating on the popcorn. I am still eating popcorn. Still going to have some popcorn tonight. I make the popcorn without oil, air popped. And that allows me to eat more of it. And a byproduct is that I love crunch, but I don't need the oil. You probably don't need the oil. I eat products with oil in it all the time. But over the past year, I took a massive step forward in eliminating extraneous oils. And I don't mean the omega, your essential fatty acids. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like oil and popcorn, or a meal that might be fried in oil, right? It's eliminating the oil where I can. Now, I'm saying this tonight after showcasing on Instagram Live, at least having a burger. I made the vegan burger with the vegan cheese. tons of oil in that. I'm not saying don't cut it out, but I gotta live a little, right? I mean, turning 48, you only do that once. So I had my blood tested a month and a half ago ish. It was right around the time where I was having problems with coffee and caffeine. I'm not back on caffeine. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to kick it permanently, or if I'm going to try it again at some point. But my body may have very well developed a caffeine intolerance. This is something that happened recently. Got my blood tested, because you never know. I'm getting my prostate exam when Diana gets back, so that's coming up, and there's no shame in that. By the way, all men, if you're of my age, you got to do it. Not the funnest thing in the world, but treat yourself. Treat yourself. Give yourself a little prize at the end of it, right? For having gone through it, because it's a serious matter. I knew someone very well. He attended my Nomedex event series for a number of years, who succumbed to colorectal cancer. So, getting that done. Blood test. I said, all right, I got to fast. I have to fast for the blood test because I know inevitably I'm going to have high cholesterol. It's always happened. Every blood test I've had throughout my entire adult life, high cholesterol. So I waited. I'm like, all right, let's see how bad it is, right? And I was, at that time, right around the same weight I am now. I haven't lost anything, really. And I haven't lost, I haven't gained, which is exactly where I want to be. Got the test results back. I was normal. And I said this before on a Twitch stream the day that it happened. I could not believe it. I was normal. I was within a normal range. I mean, the pride I felt. Because yes, it's my body, but I guarantee it was because of the choices that I made over the past year, at least. If not everything building up to that. In all my life. And I even had my blood tested when I flipped vegan not long after, and it was still high cholesterol. Didn't know what to do. I'm like, God, I've done everything. It's genetic. Is it? For me, is it? Maybe that was something that I could have said just to kind of excuse myself, to come up with a reason why, it doesn't matter because I'm going to have high cholesterol. I thought so. But I didn't. That was a goal. That's a goal I'll never finish trying to reach because it's always in flux. It's always contingent and dependent on environmental variables. But knowing full well that both my parents have had problems in this area, I'm like, I don't want that for me. So, here I sit. Turning 47 to 48. Healthier a year later than I was a year ago. 40 pounds lighter. Still enjoying beer and popcorn and cheeseburgers. Within my daily allotment. Right? Nothing special, no guidelines apart from being vegan. Which, by the way, I would recommend for everybody. I'm going to say it. You don't have to do it. I just think there are a lot of benefits to doing it. That's me. That's my choice. And I'm never flipping back. I don't care what anybody says. And I know some people, oh, what is the doctor going to say? Like, no, you need to go back to having high cholesterol? What kind of doctor would that be? And look, I'm moving around. I do not have a protein deficiency. The blood test, because I've been eating Nooch so much, my vitamin B levels were elevated. My B12. So the one thing he was concerned about was the least concern. So anyway, how do I stay fit and healthy? I keep an eye on it. I don't yield control. I pay attention. I listen. I don't come up with excuses. And if I slip, tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow's another day. So I didn't do well today. Tomorrow's another day. Okay, just make different decisions tomorrow. You're good. All good. Sun will rise again. And it's a constant thing. So no short term, long term. Hold on to that responsibility. Don't cede it. Pay attention to your goals, your overarching goals, which should never be goals that you will meet definitively and then stop. That's why I have a problem with the word diet.
Stay on target.
Doing my best to stick to something that's going to work for you ad infinitum. And in terms of exercise, I walk around plenty. I walk. I do. Could I do more? Sure. But I can tell you this. In my entire life, I've never lost weight or come to a healthy weight from exercise. From exercise coupled with eating differently. The only time I've ever done it is eating differently. Because I've tried all, trust me, I've tried them all. I've done it all. And I found something that works for me. Vegan, huge deal. It's so easy too. It's not as difficult as people make it out to be, and it's not as expensive as people make it out to be. You've seen when I hold up stickers, I'm like, look, I got this for $2, got this for free, got the a whole bag of oranges for $1, whatever it happens to be. So you just gotta learn how to shop. Takes a little more responsibility. Takes a little more time. But are you worth it? I would argue you're worth it. I would argue your health is worth it. It's your choice, though. You have to choose. And you got to stick with it. You can't just go with it for a while and then say, I'm going to go back to my old ways. Because did the old ways work well or not? Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But if you're at the point where you're making these life decisions, your lifestyle decisions, this is one of the reasons why it's very difficult for me to go back on something where I feel very strong about, especially when I see the results that I'm looking for. And the results, specifically the blood test, speak for themselves. I'm not going to talk about like my weight because I know I'm in an appropriate weight. Some people would argue, oh, you're right. Okay, I'm not going to take. By the way, don't take my advice as an absolute, right? This is just my truth. I'm just here to share with you my truth and how I did it, in the hopes that maybe it inspires one other person, gives them a path forward out of something. That's why I like giving advice. Again, I'm only an expert in being myself. You don't ever accept anybody's advice blindly. That's for sure. But you do this for yourself. So if you find yourself in the same boat, the same position, it's how I'm doing it. That's how I hope to continue to do it, and we'll make adjustments accordingly. The next step I would like to make with my health, I do drink beer, and I was not drinking it for a while when I was going through the caffeine thing. Ticino's been working great for that, off of caffeine. But I feel that the next step I could take will be maybe not eliminating alcohol, but cutting back. And I did it, and it was fine. I had no problem doing it at all. But cutting back, and I haven't figured out my plan for it because I don't want to just cut it out because I enjoy it, right? Life's too short, but not the way that have it within my life the way that I have, and I haven't figured out how to make that work yet. And it may end up being like one of those things where, like, we have Saturday cereal, Sunday cereal on the Twitch streams. It may be like a Friday night beer, and that I think that would probably be fine for me. So, anyway, Happy to have shared this bit of life advice with Tommy, if he's watching here. I know he's probably not watching on YouTube. And I know the chat that's going on. That's why I love doing the live videos. I know. I just love doing this stuff live. I love the interact. You never know what people are going to say in chat or what's going to happen. It doesn't really bother me. It doesn't. But I appreciate the attention and people commenting. I don't mind. It never really bothered me. But anyway, that's all I have to say. I'm gonna not finish my beer, but I'm going to hopefully finish this Rebel Imperial data cylinder as it's printing here.